And speaking of money, let's turn to the day's business news now. Yuka Royer joins us for that. Yuka, the UK government is to unveil its new budget today.
Well, Finance Minister Rishi Sunak is giving his budget speech in the House of Commons later on today to say that he will do whatever it takes to support the economy. Britain has suffered the heaviest economic damage from the pandemic among rich nations, with its economy shrinking about 10% last year. The government has so far spent almost £300 billion in emergency support measures and tax cuts, which has pushed up public debt. It now stands at almost 100% of its GDP. Sunak is also expected to extend the current furlough scheme through September to help keep workers on their payrolls. Let's take a listen to what he had to say ahead of his much-anticipated budget speech.
We're going to be talking about how we plan to protect the livelihoods of the British people through the remaining stages of this crisis as we exit the restrictions and slowly reopen our economy and country.
Well, meanwhile, Yuka, here in France, the government going ahead with a planned reform on unemployment benefits.
Well, that's right. It changes to the current system, which will tighten conditions for certain job seekers, will go into effect in July, despite opposition from unions. France's Labour Minister made the announcement on Tuesday after another round of talks with unions and business lobbies. The reform will affect about 800,000 people, especially those who mainly work on seasonal jobs. They will see their monthly benefit gradually decrease, but could extend the duration of being on the scheme. The aim of the reform is to save over €3.5 billion over 3 years.
OK. Talk us through, Yuka, the day's trading action.
European shares are generally up this morning, with London's FTSE leading the gains. It's up about 0.8% at the open, with Paris's CAC 40 and Frankfurt's DAX also mildly up. Let's look at the figures in Asia earlier on. They also generally bounced back, with Hong Kong up more than 2.5%. Around 2.5%, as you can see there. This as Beijing prepares to open its annual parliament meeting later this week, and it's set to unveil its economic programme for the coming year.
Meanwhile, Yuka, there's a story that Boeing, airplane maker Boeing, has flagged up possible security risks about a plane, but on its competitor's side of things.
Airbus plane. It's specifically on a type of Airbus plane. Boeing has told the European Aviation Safety Agency that the design of Airbus's newest narrow-body jet presents many potential hazards. Specifically, the US plane maker says that a novel fuel tank system on the A321XLR could pose fire risks. It's the plane's main marketing point, though. In order to make longer flights possible, Airbus plans to mould one tank directly into the fuselage in addition to normal tanks in the wings. The EASA in January said that it would impose special conditions on Airbus's new fuel tank system to keep passengers safe. Now, this kind of intervention from a rival plane maker is not unprecedented, but it does come at a time when Boeing itself has just come out of a crisis over its 737 MAX, competing model to that Airbus plane.
Indeed, the timing is questionable. But moving on, Microsoft has issued a warning about a new hacking campaign blaming Chinese hackers with links to Beijing for it.
Well, Microsoft says it identified a state-sponsored threat actor, a group of hackers operating out of China, which it calls Hafnium. The tech firm says that the cyber espionage group has been attacking its Microsoft Exchange mail server software using previously undetected vulnerabilities. Camille Nedalek has more.
From China with love. Microsoft said a Chinese cyber espionage ring attacked its email software for businesses, blaming Hafnium, which it called a highly skilled and sophisticated actor. The group is thought to be sponsored by the Chinese state. It targets infectious disease research, law firms, universities and defense contractors. Hafnium hacked into on-premises Microsoft Exchange servers to seize control of target organization servers remotely to steal data. The software juggernaut released a series of patches on Tuesday in response.
Even though we've worked quickly to deploy an update for the Hafnium exploits, we know that many nation-state actors and criminal groups will move quickly to take advantage of any unpatched systems. Promptly applying today's patches is the best protection against this attack.
This is the 8th time in the past 12 months that the firm has denounced nation-state groups targeting important institutions, including companies researching vaccines for COVID-19. For those attacks, Microsoft blamed Russian and North Korean state-backed groups. Last month, a French hospital group near Lyon was hit by a ransomware attack, resulting in some operations being cancelled. In Germany, in September 2020, a woman became the first known person to die as a result of a cyber attack. Her nearest hospital turned her away after it was left incapacitated after it got hacked.